Hi, I'm Phil, and today I'm going to uh, walk through my mind map on planning for the Parramatta IoT workshop, and that'll happen towards the end of August. So what it's about, we'll just go through. We're going to have a look at the topic of the Internet of Things, and it includes things like home automation, security. There are security issues. There are some benefits, but there are also some risks. And I started off with a website called If This Then That. I no longer use that. I'm using alternative websites which are free, whereas to do anything decent on the What If Then That website, you've got to really pay for it. So I'm getting reasonable results on ThingSpeak, and I'm testing out the kids IoT network also. So I started doing this about 10 years ago, and at that time I looked at closed circuit TV and discovered that there are quite a few risks involved. That is, there were people hacking into our closed circuit TV cameras. Now, since that time, there's been quite a number of other cloud services that have evolved. And we're also now using our own platform on the internet called Home Assistant. And we also feed data from that. We can push data, and it can be picked up by our mobile phones anywhere. So there's still a lot happening in that area. So in the Home Assistant demo that I'll do at the workshop, I'll look at how we're using it in our house. I'll also look at a little box based on the Raspberry Pi CM4, and we'll have a look at putting that together. And I will also explore a little computer which has a built-in Wi-Fi called the ESP32, and there's a website called ESPHome, which is dedicated to supporting that. And I'll have a look at closed circuit TV integration. We have quite a number of cameras now, and we also have AI connected to those cameras for image recognition. It's being used for security. Then we have our entertainment system, both the TV and also the hi-fi audio systems connected to the Home Assistant. And we do energy monitoring to see how much we're spending on electricity at the moment. Lots of future applications in this area. And I was involved in my career with vehicle to infrastructure communication. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So originally the workshop was scheduled for early August, but it's recently been changed. And this will appeal to makers, in fact, anyone at all who's interested in the Internet of Things. And just looking at my own history in this area, and also the history generally, the first IoT device happened in 1982, quite a long time ago, and that was a Coke vending machine. My experience is about that time, I was involved with the Sydney Harbour Bridge toll system, and I connected all the lanes using microcomputers to a mini computer. That was a network. And in engineering, I was interested in a protocol called MapTop, or factory automation, which was used by both BHP and General Motors. And when I moved on to transport, the first T-way systems, one from Liverpool to Parramatta, has a fibre optic cable all the way along the T-way. So some of my projects include home automation, and I've been looking at RFID, QR codes, and simple digital and analog interfaces to devices. And I've been looking at using LoRaWAN. That's currently being used in our garden. So for the planning, I'll investigate some cloud services. I'll do some projects, and I'll cover the topics of home automation, how you can benefit from home automation, the security issues, and we'll look at some of the cloud services. And I'll put on some demos. And we might actually have a look at what tools will be used for this, besides the cloud services. I'll look generally at communications with serial communications, wireless, web, some bridges, and even software associated with those bridges like Node-RED. And for security, we'll look at firewalls, passwords, and physical isolation. And some of the hardware, I'll be looking at the WeoLink, which was one of the first computers I used for IoT, and it's based on the ESP8266. I'll look at Arduino wireless base, M5 stack, and they're using the ESP32. And for software, I'll have a look at Node-RED, MQTT, and some web services. So here are some of the projects I'm working on. I'm looking at a computer called the microbit computer, and it's connected to a IoT service called KidsiOT. And the configuration is shown on this diagram. The microbit is connected to an adapter, and that is connected to a Wi-Fi sensor and a weather sensor, DHT11, which is measuring temperature and humidity. We can see that locally, but the wireless connection goes to my home Wi-Fi and eventually to the KidsiOT network. The program is actually quite simple, and the results come out graphically at the KidsiOT website. So that's one device I'll be demonstrating, and yes, stay tuned, and you'll see that at the end of the video. The other one, I'm looking at a Raspberry Pi Pico computer, and it's connected with a push button to GPIO 20. So we've got a Raspberry Pi Pico goes into the shield for the Raspberry Pi Pico, and a Grove push button via a Grove cable is connected here, and that's connected to the Adafruit website. So we'll have a look at that also in the live video at the moment. So both of those demonstrations are currently working, and for the workshop, I'll have a look at Home Assistant, the yellow box that uses Raspberry Pi, and also we'll have a look at the ESPHome. So that's it for the time being, and you can follow some of these services on my references here. So the devices I'm using are from M5 Stack, Seed Studio, Electrix, and also the cloud services are coming from If This Then That. I haven't tested the services from Amazon or from Microsoft, but I have tested the Seed Studio web cloud services. And of course, the other services right on top, I'm looking at two sites that I'm testing at the moment: EasyIoT, Blink, ThingSpeak, and the KidsiOT. So most of these seem to work quite well. And that's it for the time being. So bye from now. Here we have two IoT projects. Both of them are quite simple. The first one a microbit is sitting on a Nezha adapter, and it's connected to a DHT11 sensor, but there's also a Wi-Fi chip, and the whole thing's connected to the internet. And we'll have a look at that in a moment. So there's some local information on a OLED display. So you can see here that the temperature and the humidity have been recorded from the DHT11. And at the moment, this has been programmed to go to the kids network. So we can have a look at that. So this goes to the kids IoT network, and I'm logging two parameters. So I'm logging the DHT11 temperature, and we'll just open that up now. You can see the temperature, and the temperature at the moment is 19 degrees Celsius. And I'm also logging the humidity. So you can see the humidity's been recorded there. The other IoT feed is going to Adafruit. So this is the AdafruitIO channel, and it's also demonstrating IoT connections. So we'll have a look at that. The hardware is a Raspberry Pi Pico, and it's sitting on a Grove shield for the Pico, and there's a push button connected to GPIO 20. So what happens when I press the push button here, it will log that data onto the website. So we'll go and have a look at that. So this recording is happening right now, and if we go to the website, you can see that there's a log of that event, and it's been graphed over here. And that's my current IoT demonstration devices. Bye-bye.